Greetings and welcome to Utique Lifestyle. This is a wardrobe planning series in collaboration with So Much Fabric, where fabric is sewn into fashion. I recently completed my print play blouse, and this was a very fun project for me. In this video, I'm going to focus on how I sewed on the cuffs. This is the first tutorial to the print play blouse mini-series. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that bell for future notifications. So let's begin. We will start with the lower sleeve edge. At this stage, I have already attached the sleeve to the armhole. I will cut slits into the pleat lines and the slash lines, and making sure it doesn't reach the 5/8 stitch line. Using my chalk, I'm going to transfer the slash lines onto the fabric. And these are the lines representing the white chalk lines. I'm going to do the same for the pleat lines. Next, I'm going to thread trace the slash lines. And this is how it would look when I'm done. I'm going to flip the fabric over and cut down the center of the thread tracing lines. Next, we are going to create the continuous lap. I wasn't able to find the tissue pattern, so I created my own. I'll attach a copy of my continuous lap pattern down below in case you ever need it. So here I cut 2 of the continuous lap patterns. I will fold it in half and then iron it. Next, I'm going to open it up and then fold one edge towards the center and iron. Then I'm going to flip it around and fold the other edge into the center and folding the other side over and press. Repeat this for the other continuous lap. This is very similar to bias binding. Open it up and take the right side of the continuous lap and lay it on the wrong side of the edge sleeve. Using the iron line of the continuous lap, I'm going to match it up to the thread tracing on the edge of the sleeve. I will match up the lines and pin it together. The thread tracing helps because I can feel it from the underside. Now that it is pinned together, I'm going to flip it over and take it to the sewing machine and sew it along the thread tracing line. You will be sewing it closer to the edge as it gets closer to the center of the slash. Just slow down and follow the thread tracing line. Next, remove the pins and it will look like this. Now take the other side of the continuous lap, fold it over, and it will conceal the seam. And now I am ready to edge stitch the continuous lap. When I get close to the center, I'm going to move the fabric over and continue to sew. Take your time and enjoy the process. And now you have the opening to the sleeve. I will iron it and also fold over the pleats using the small slits I made earlier and then iron that. I will trim off the excess fabric. From the back side, I'm going to make about a 45-degree angle marking. I will take it to the sewing machine and stitch along the marking. I will sew it back and forth a couple of times just to secure it. And now the opening will look like this. I will now sew along the side of the bodice and the sleeves using the French seam. That will be in another video in this series. I am now ready to work on the cuffs. I will iron the interfacing onto the back side of the fabric. Next, I'm going to do a 5/8 inch base stitch along one edge of the cuff. Using the base stitch as my guide, I am going to iron it down along the edge. Repeat it for the other cuff. Next, I'm going to open up the end, fold the cuff in half, and press. Now I'm going to open it up and fold it back over with the right sides facing each other. I will pin it together along the sides. Repeat the process for the other cuff. Now I am ready to sew down along the sides. Take it to the sewing machine and sew along the sides. Now clip the corners of the cuff to avoid bulk. I will flip it inside out and press. I am going to take the continuous lap that is closest to the pleat, fold it over, and then pin it to the cuff. I am pinning it to the side that does not have the basting stitch. Now take the other side of the continuous lap and keep this end open. Don't fold it over, just line it up to the edge and pin. Now start pinning it together along the middle of the cuff. Now when I get to the pleat, I'm going to adjust it as needed so that the fabric will lay flat. Now I'm ready to sew it at 5/8 inch seam. Before I close up the cuff, I'm going to trim off the excess fabric. Now fold the cuff over and then fold under the basting seam and pin. I like to start with pinning the ends together first and then pinning it along the center. Now I am ready to edge stitch it along the outside of the cuff, going all the way around. So I will take it to the sewing machine and edge stitch. When you get to the corner, slow down and then keep the needle down. Raise the presser foot, pivot, lower the presser foot, and then continue to sew. Next, bring it to the iron and press. Now I am ready to sew on the buttonholes. I love that my sewing machine has an automatic buttonhole maker. If you're interested, let me know down below if you would like a tutorial on this. I will use my seam ripper to slash open the buttonholes and then seal it with fray check. Finally, I am ready to sew on the buttons. I measured 5/8 from the edge and making sure it lines up with the buttonhole, and then make a mark. At this point, I am going to sew on all the buttons. And I am complete. If you enjoyed this video, please click like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell for future notifications. Well, thank you for visiting, and I hope you got inspired to create something extraordinary out of the ordinary.